Hey there, Arzon Pirates. Welcome to the first fireside reading of a Chan text with Linseed, the half-orc Druid. I fired this up, and I'm holding Treasury of the Eye of True Teaching. Dahui's translated by Thomas Cleary, and the subtitle of that is Classic Stories, Discourses, and Poems of the Chan Tradition. But yeah, I referred to this as my cutlass last year, and I found a good use for it, and I was like, oh, I was just playing, we were exploring the Underdark, me and my crew here in Faerun, and I was like, it's kind of funny, I'm just exhausted from playing a couple hours of that game, and I'm gonna have to, put it to rest for the night. And I was like, oh, it's real nice. There's this cozy, campsite I can go to and kind of unwind in the game before I log off the game. And then it came into my head like a little fireside chat, like what FDR used to do, but with a Chan text. And so got some tea steeping and got all set up to go, and came here and I hit record, and I was like, you know what? I don't know if every Chan Buddhist out there would be super thrilled hearing a copy of Treasury of the Eye of True Teaching being read to them from Faerun. It's kind of an iffy, dimension or location. Perhaps presents some challenges in some ways. To me, again, I'm a big one for comedy, so it seemed to be pretty good. And boy, you see my owlbear cub. You see that? So I got this dog Scratch in the camp, and he runs around, and the owlbear cub just chases him. Right. But anyway, someone from Arzen already expressed their dissatisfaction with the magic nature of this literary experiment, and compared it to like a ritual or something. So if there's anyone out there who's going to react adversely to the reading of a Chan text by this campfire here in Faerun, I'm just warning you now. You might want to stop watching the video. No offense intended. Like, to me, this isn't like a real kind of hell or anything like that. It's this is a piece of literature I can read the game from inside of now, or read the text from inside of now. But first, I'll just give you a little tour of the camp, since we're planning on a lot of these fireside posts here, and so it seems like a good idea to just introduce you to the denizens and inhabitants. So we'll start here. This is Lizel, one of my favorite characters, super funny. I currently have them spec'd as a monk, and they just kick so much ass, it's fucking unreal. But a super fun character, and especially because she's from a very unpopular race in Faerun, because they're very particular, but like it makes the character actually super fun. Over here's Karlak, and I might as well bring it right out. She's a tiefling, and I believe she was trapped in hell for a long time in the service of a demon lord or some shit like that, and is maybe part devil at this point. And I'm not really sure what's going on with that plot, but you can see that glowing thing in her chest. They put some kind of device that makes her like on fire half the time, and a pretty interesting brawler. But this person has the most uplifting attitude out of all of the members of the crew. And then we'll just spin over here real quick. This is a bard, Volo, that I rescued from some goblins. This here's Elaborate and Wise, one of our users from Arzen Pirates. And he hangs out here with Labraticus. This is Labraticus right here. And they hang out when we're down in the Underdark camp in Shadowheart's little tent area, and that's my cleric. Very cool character. I'm not even going to talk about that guy because he's like maybe the best character in the game, and I haven't used him yet because I'm saving him for the very reason. There's a druid who might join my party later. I rescued his grove from goblins, so he fucking joined my crew. Up here look, this guy's I have to admit, he's a warlock. I don't use him. I'm not sure what I'm going to do with his plot this time, but he's in a pact with a creature from the underworld, and he broke his pact, and so he got turned into a devil or something. I know. What can I do? This is what we're working with. Withers, he's my necromancer. And then Gale is probably my favorite character. He's a wizard. He's super fun, nice character, really fun class to play with. But I'm not using him this time because I used him so much in my first run. He was a permanently in my party. But then I'll show you the real fun. Oh yeah, I got a mirror here too. If I ever want to come change my appearance, I can look in there. But here we're gonna watch this. Well, first of all, watch this. All right, we're gonna get Scratch over here the old-fashioned way. Wait, why isn't that nothing? Oh, yeah, here we go. I got Scratch's ball here. You paying attention, Scratch? You coming? Alright. Oh, there he goes. Good doggo.
Hope you're keeping well, friend.
Yeah, thanks. You too. We'll pet him. I'd feel bad if I just said leave. Just want to really, get you guys in the setting here in the camp. Otherwise, it makes the reading, I think, more interesting. And then I got to say hi to the owlbear cub because this thing is so cute. It's ridiculous. And it says the funniest stuff. Oh, no. Come here. Hey, you. Scratch, stop bleeding. The owlbear cub, ever since they had the dream encounter...
Delicious, but I will not bite you.
Ever since they had that bad dream night for the owlbear, it's just been following Scratch around everywhere it goes.
Nice here. The caves smell like rotting meat. Goblin camp smells like goblins.
I'm getting the impression that the owlbear cub doesn't like goblins. Oh, jeez. It's killing me. I can't believe that thing is that cute. Alright. You guys have fun. We're going to do a little reading. You keep on running around. Alright. But I think overall it's a pretty nice atmosphere. It's a good place for some readings. So we're just going to start off here. I'm going to read the first case out of the Treasury Eye of the True Teaching, which isn't like super short, but it's not too long. But I have a hard time reading, so bear with me if it takes me a while to work out some of the words. Alright. So this is the first case. Master Lanya asked Master Jew, "Where have you just come from?" Master Jew said, "From the Riverlands." "Did you come by boat or by land?" "By boat." "Where's the boat?" "Underfoot." "How do you utter an expression of not being on the road?" Jew rustled his seat cloth and said, "Incomplete elders are extremely commonplace." Then he walked out. Lanya asked an attendant, "Who is that?" "Master Jew." Lanya then went down to the transients hall and asked, "Aren't you Senior Jew?" Jew shouted and asked, "When did you go to Fenyang, elder?" Lanya said he went there at such and such a time. Jew remarked, "I had already heard of you when I was still in the Riverland, but it turns out that your perception is only like this. How could you be famous throughout the land?" Lanya then bowed and said thanks. I'm just going to turn one page back here and point out that, did you guys notice that there's a transients hall? I don't think I've heard anyone point that out, that word out before. Just wanted to point that out. And then we'll go to Dahui's commentary. I'm not going to make any commentary. I'm just going to read these. All right. Dahui commented, "The guest is the guest from start to finish. The host is the host from start to finish. These two great masters took turns as host and guest in the impromptu encounter, directly bringing to light the heart and marrow of Linseed. If you have not thoroughly realized the grip of transcendence and are not equipped with true perception beyond ordinary sense, you will inevitably construe this in terms of winning and losing." Oh yeah, that's pretty clever. This was the first case, the very first one. All right. "Some say Jew responded truthfully to each question all along, but at the end, he shouldn't have made a Buddhist rationale, as this was his incompetence." And incompetence is in scare quotes. "Some say Lanya became doubtful and uncertain at heart when he was called an incompetent by Master Jew. So he immediately laid down his weapons, took off his armor, and actually importuned Master Jew to stay so he could question him about this matter in what they call sitting inquiry. When one dog barks at nothing, 1,000 monkeys bite in actuality. Because religious leaders do not have clear insight, they originate sectarian doctrines, confusing and misleading people of later times. What they don't realize is that the two great masters' stimulus and response were like the sun and moon shining in the sky. Where dragons and elephants tread is not for lame donkeys and blind men. How could a frog in a well or a chicken in a pot know the vastness of the universe? You know, I really liked both the frog in the well and the chicken in the pot references. Just throwing that in there. I once cited this story in an interview and asked the student, "Do you agree with what Langya said?" "No," he replied. "Why don't you agree?" "One shouldn't make a Buddhist rationale." I then cited the story of young men asking Dongshan, "Where have you come from?" Dongshan said, "Chadu." Young men asked, "Where did you spend the summer?" Dongshan said, "At Baoxi in Hunan." Young men asked, "When did you leave there?" Dongshan said, "August 25th. Young men said, "I forgive you a beating of 60 strokes." "Do you agree with what young men said?" I asked the student. "Yes," the student replied. "Why do you agree?" Young men had no Buddhist rationale. That's very interesting. I said, "The questions of the teachers were the same, and the answers of the students were the same. So why do you agree with one and not the other?" The student stood there thinking. I drove him out with a caning. I then called the student to come back for a minute. When he turned his head, I said, "If you interpret it as a caning, you drag me down and you're blind yourself." The student thereupon bowed and said, "Today I finally realized the encounter of Langya and Master Ju cannot be fathomed by ordinary feelings." I said, "Look at this blind guy summing up arbitrarily," and again I drove him off with blows and shouts. While I was in exile in Hengyang, I closed my door and retired, taking no interest in external affairs. From time to time, patshrub mendicants would ask for help, so I couldn't but answer them. The Chanmen Zhongmi and Huiran took notes, which over time accumulated into a huge volume. They brought it to me and asked for a title, wishing to reveal it to later generations so that the treasury of the eye of true teaching of the Buddhas and Chan masters does not perish. So I entitled it Treasury of the Eye of True Teaching, and made the story of Langya the first chapter. Thus there is no order of precedence in the adepts featured herein, nor division of sect. I have only taken their realizations of the handle of transcendence as capable of dissolving sticking points for people and untying bonds, just so they may have accurate perception. I'm going to read that's the last paragraph. Read that one again. Thus, there is no order of precedence in the adepts featured herein, nor division of sect. I have only taken the realizations of the handle of transcendence as capable of dissolving sticking points for people and untying bonds, just so they may have accurate perception. There we go. And then Cleary made one translator's note, and then let's say, oh, this is a fun one. Dahui was defrocked and exiled from 1141 to 1155 through the machinations of a political opponent of one of Dahui's lay successors. He was in Hengyang during the first 10 years of this period. Pretty fun, isn't it, when you get the real book and start reading it, and then you find yourself getting all this really interesting info that we would never hear about if we were just like studying Zen and Zen. But yeah, that was pretty fun. It puts a real interesting touch on Dahui and his story and how he got this book too. But yeah, anyway, thanks. Welcome to the first use of my cutlass here in Faerun, or the first fireside reading of Treasury of the Eye of True Teaching. Hopefully we'll have many more in this series, and we can continue to chat about the book. In fact, maybe I'll let this one, this reading matriculate in my mind, and maybe at the next reading we'll start by talking about that a little bit and then reading the next one. This is something I'm just exploring. I just came up with it 2 minutes before I started this video, so this is a new content format we're just exploring. Anyway, thanks Arzen Pirates for joining along for a nice fireside reading. Peace.